Morning students. So today we are going to study the next type of that immunity. Our immune system is acquired immunity. Last time we studied the innate immunity and their different barriers. So today we are learn about the acquired immunity. So let us see. So that acquired immunity is immunity that develop in your lifetime. Okay. So that acquired immunity is divided into two types: active acquired immunity and the passive acquired immunity. Active acquired immunity are further divided into two types. It may be the natural or the artificial. Here also the passive acquired immunity are divided into two subtypes, that is natural and artificial. So let us see the short table of that. So natural active immunity is the infection, means our body get produce the antibodies, but the infection when the infection is enter into the body, means some pathogens are enter into our body, so then antibodies are formed in our bodies. Okay, so this is a natural way. Any pathogen enter into our body and then our body get response to that pathogens to produce the antibodies. Okay, this is a natural, so it is called as the natural active. But what is the artificial? Means the antibodies are formed but artificially. Artificially means immunization. So antibodies develop in response to vaccination. Okay, means not any pathogens are entered into our body. Instead of that, the vaccination is there. So vaccination is given by human to produce the antibodies. Is artificial vaccination are given to the body and to produce the antibodies within our body. Okay, so here is the natural way, the pathogens, and here is the artificial, that is the vaccines. It is the types of active immunity. Let us see the passive. Passive natural or natural passive immunity means maternal. It is a natural way that antibodies are received from mother to their fetus, mother to their baby through breast milk. So that milk of that mother is contain number of antibodies which increase the immune system of that baby. So it is the natural passive, natural way from mother to antibodies transfer from mother to their child or mother to their fetus. It is called as the natural passive. Artificial passive means antibodies are transferred. Here antibodies are produced naturally, but here the antibodies are transferred artificially. So antibodies received from a medicine, from a globulin injection or infusion. Okay, let us see it detail. So let's start to the acquired immunity, means what is the feature or unique feature of that acquired immunity. So acquired immunity unique feature is specificity. So each and every pathogen or each and every antigen have the specific antibody. So this is the specificity which produce specific antibody or T lymphocytes against a particular antigen or pathogen. This is the specificity. We know that antigens are producing pathogens or foreign bodies or microbes, and antibodies are produced in the human body. Diversity, yes, there is a different varieties of pathogens are present in the nature or the foreign bodies. This is called as the diversity. Now what is the discrimination between self and non-self? Discrimination means differentiation between self and non-self. We already discussed it. So this is the main character or unique character of that acquired immunity. Self and non-self. Self means our body cells or molecules. Non-self means that pathogens cell or their molecules or foreign bodies or their molecules. So that acquired immunity can identify that cells or molecules of self and non-self. Memory. Memory, it is also called as the immunological memory. When any pathogens are entered into our body, so our immune system or that acquired immunity are memorize that pathogens. If that pathogens is entering next time also, the antibodies are already prepared in our body. So when body kill that pathogen first time, it is called primary response, which is of low intensity. because first time the antibodies get identified that pathogen and then destroy it. But next time when same pathogen killed by body second time, it is called the secondary response, and which is highly intensive. Why intensity? Because the pathogens are enter into our body second time. So first time our body already prepared the antibodies for that. So next time, just whenever that pathogen enter into our body, the antibodies are already there. So antibodies kill that pathogens very fast or high intensities. Okay. So these are the different or unique features of acquired immunity, that is specificity, diversity, discrimination between self and non-self, memory. Okay. This is acquired active immunity. It is resistance developed by an individual. This is immunity is acquired by activating immune system of the body and result in production of antibodies. So you have to remember here the production of antibodies. For what? For active acquired immunity or acquired active immunity. Active means production of antibodies are there. This word is important for that. Active immunity, production of antibodies. It may be the natural production or it may be the artificial प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द एंटीबॉडीज़ होना चाहिए बॉडी में. सो वो मे बी द नेचुरली इन्फेक्शन होके या फिर आर्टिफिशियली कोई इन्फेक्शन होगी. सो नेचुरल इन्फेक्शन कैसा होगा? कोई भी इन्फेक्शन, जैसे कि यहाँ पे दिखाए गए पैरामीशियम. सो ऐसे ही more of the pathogens get enter into our body, so our body naturally produce the antibodies. This is the natural active immunity. So here is when the pathogen enter into our body, so it develops the antibodies, and it is a long lasting immunity. Means we are already say that the memory is very strong. So it is a long lasting immunity. For example, the person who has recovered from attack of measles, which develops natural acquired active immunity to measles for the lifetime. एक बार ये डिजीज हो गया तो बाद में लाइफ टाइम उनको जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि दैट एंटीबॉडीज आर देयर टू डिस्ट्रॉय दैट पैथोजेंस. So that disease cannot occur or cause to that person. Okay, so this is a natural active. What is the artificial active? So artificial active are acquired artificially by vaccination. यहाँ पे इन्फेक्शन आया था, सो एंटीबॉडीज फॉर्म हो गई, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ एंटीबॉडीज. यहाँ पे इन्फेक्शन नहीं है, इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट वैक्सीनेशन इज देयर. जैसे कि छोटे बच्चे होते हैं उनको हम पोलियो वैक्सीन देते हैं आफ्टर 1 year, then 2 year, up to the 5 years. So this is the artificial infection or the vaccination are given to that baby. It is the artificial. For what? To produce the antibodies in their that person, that child. Okay, so it is the vaccine. What is the meaning of that vaccine? So vaccine is nothing but the dead or live but artificially weakened. Okay, you have to remember here that it is the artificially weakened pathogens or toxins secreted by that pathogens, and that vaccine is introduced into the body. वो वैक्सीन हमें दिया जाता है, हाँ, या फिर छोटे छोटे बच्चों को दिया जाता है, मे बी द adult also, for the different thing. But we're talking about if we were talking about the polio vaccine, so it is from the small child. So that vaccines introduced into the body to stimulate the formation of antibodies by the immune system. छोटे बच्चों में antibodies की that antibodies stimulate very fast. For that you have to get the vaccination to that babies. This immunity may be temporary or the permanent. For example, the polio vaccine. So you just remember here the example, that is a polio vaccine. For what? Artificial active immunity. Okay, and the next one is just look towards the vaccination. What is the vaccination? It is the administration of vaccine, that is inactivated pathogen or antigenic protection of particular pathogen. To protect against a particular pathogen is called as the vaccination. We already studied. And the vaccines contain a microorganism or virus, but they are in a weakened form. You have to remember here. These are the weakened form, live or killed state, or proteins, or maybe the toxins from that organism. This is called as the vaccine. It is stimulating the body's adaptive immunity. जो बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी है जो कि अडप्ट होती है लाइफ टाइम में, उसको इंक्रीज करने का, स्टिमुलेट करने का काम दैट वैक्सीनेशन इज डज. They help prevent sickness from an infectious disease. Okay, vaccination is the most effective method of preventing the infection or infectious disease, means which protect from that infectious disease. So vaccination is very important. That vaccination has allowed us to control disease like measles, polio, tetanus, and the whooping cough that once threatened many lives. How that vaccination is work? So vaccination teaches the body. अगर किसी को वैक्सीनेशन दिया तो दैट वैक्सीनेशन इज टीचेस द बॉडी, वो बॉडी को स्टिमुलेट करता है टू रिकॉग्नाइज एनी पैथोजेंस विच कॉजिंग द डिजीज. Then it stimulates the body to make antibodies against that antigen. Then it also helps to immune cells to remember that type of antigens, and this allows a faster response to the pathogen in the futures. Means these are the all things are very important for our body, like to make the antibodies against that antigen, then to make them remember that antigen, and then faster response in the future also. So these all things are very important for our immune system, which are given by that vaccination. Vaccine may be in the different forms. Which forms? The vaccine may be a protein or a sugar from that pathogen. It may be the dead or inactivated form of that pathogen, or it may be the toxoid containing toxins which produced by that pathogen, or it is a weakened pathogen. So this vaccine contain these different forms of that pathogens and then insert into the body of human body to decrease the infection of disease, just infectious disease, decrease the infectious disease. Is it vaccination is safe for the body or a human body? So consider to be the safe. Why? Because that vaccine is tested many times. They actually study very well, then examination are very good, and lastly the research are work on that. So number of research work on that vaccination studies are there, number of times they tested that vaccine. After that the vaccine is given to the public. Okay, so yes, there is the somewhat side effect is there, but there are very rare, near about 10 lakh peoples in one person. Means one person get side effect out of the 10 lakh peoples, and that side effect is typically the mild side effect. लाइक छोटे बच्चों को अगर हमने डोज दिया है, छोटे छोटे बच्चों को, तो उनको थोड़ा सा फीवर आ जाता है, टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाता है. दिस आर द रेयर सिम्टम्स और माइल्ड्स विच गिवन बाय दैट बॉडी आफ्टर द वैक्सीनेशन. Okay, so this is the information about that vaccination. Next is the acquired passive immunity. Acquired passive immunity is acquired when ready-made antibodies are received by the body. You have to remember here the passive immunity means ready-made antibodies, and what about the active immunity? Production of antibody. Okay, production of antibodies में infection, vaccination and the ready-made antibodies में in a passive immunity में ready-made antibodies. So ready-made antibodies are maybe the natural or the artificial, but ready-made antibodies body को दी जा रही है, खुद की body और our body cells do not take part in the that production of that immunity. Okay, हमारी बॉडी की सेल्स एंटीबॉडीज फॉर्म नहीं कर रही है, आर्टिफिशियल एंटीबॉडीज वी इंसर्टेड इनटू आवर बॉडी. ओके, सो इन दिस वे द रेडीमेड एंटीबॉडीज बाय नेचुरल वे, फॉर एग्जांपल बिफोर birth the maternal antibodies are transferred from mother to the fetus. fetus कब बोला कि fetus when that baby is inside the womb of that mother, okay, through that placenta. So through that placenta the antibodies are transferred from mother to the fetus. You can see in the picture. So on the basis of that you can understand the example of that natural passive immunity. So before birth the maternal antibodies are transferred from mother to the fetus through placenta. After birth, that antibodies, that is the immunoglobulin A, are transferred from mother to infant through the colostrum. Remember this word colostrum. Colostrum means the first milk of that mother, which contain number of antibodies, which is very important for the baby, and continue throughout the period of breastfeeding. Okay, that antibodies received by baby from that mother remain in the body for a short time. That's why this immunity is short life. Okay, so this is about the natural passive. And what is the artificial passive? This immunity is developed by the injecting previously prepared antibodies. Antibodies are prepared by outside, and then that are antibodies by using the serum from human or animal that artificial antibodies are formed by using the serum or serum from the human or animal, that antibodies are get inserted into the our body. Okay, so these antibodies containing preparation are termed as anti-serum. Okay, so artificial antibody preparation is called as the anti-serum, and it is a short life. For example, antibodies obtained from hyperimmunized horses are injected to the human against rabies pathogen. One more example is the snake's antivenom. रेडीमेड एंटीबॉडीज़ की क्यों ज़रूरत पड़ती है? समटाइम्स यू गेट द स्नेक बाइट, आपको सांप ने काट लिया, सो हमारी बॉडी में तब इतना टाइम नहीं रहता कि एंटीबॉडीज़ फॉर्म करें. वो जो वेनम, वो जो पॉइजन बॉडी में गया है, वो इंस्टेंट विद इन 2 to 3 minutes और हाफ एन आवर द बॉडी गेट पॉइजनस बिकॉज ऑफ दैट बाइटिंग. सो उतने टाइम में हमारी बॉडीज एंटीबॉडीज़ फॉर्म नहीं कर सकती. इट मे बी द पर्सन गेट डाई, सो वो पर्सन मर जाएगा. So instead of that, if you give that ready-made antibodies to that person, so person get live. Okay, so ready-made antibodies are useful in that persons when they get the snake bites or anything else. Okay, or a rabies pathogen. So this is the example of artificial passive immunity. Okay, so this is about the acquired passive immunity.